morning, good afternoon, and good evening to Play PSVR2, the podcast, episode 132. I am your host, Alex, Play PSVR Alex, the man with all the news and goodness for you. I have a very special guest this week. My guest this week is Adam. Adam, welcome to the show. Happy to have you. How are you doing this week?
Dude, I'm doing great. I'm just dancing. Of course, I probably shouldn't do it because this podcast. People can't see me dancing. They can't see the moves I was going to do, so I'm going to stop
that move, were you like taking shots or were you like kissing little tiny people?
No, I pulled my eyeballs out of my sockets and I ate them. And then they were going to come out my ears and I was going to put them back in my eye sockets.
Okay. All right. It looked less like you ate your eyes and more like you kissed your eyeballs. Still, that was a good
I
dance
kissed
move.
something.
Adam, you look like you got a little bit of sun today, and I also mowed my lawn and I wore no sun protection, so I'm fading rapidly. I think my skin's melting off.
I am definitely not burnt. I did not get any sun.
Oh, maybe I just feel that I got sun, and it like is reflecting. My impression of you is that you also are sunburnt.
You are so white, like. You are pasty, man. You know that utterly smooth.
Yeah.
You know that utterly smooth body cream you can get. It's a moisturizer.
Yeah.
You're the human embodiment of that product.
Of utterly smooth.
Sounds weird. Alex, we need to move on to our gamer juice before I get in hot water. I went a little south of the border for this one, Alex. I kept being told Mexican Coke is different than American Coke. You gotta try Mexican Coke. There's real cane sugar. Viva la Mexico. And so I grabbed me a quesadilla and I grabbed me a Coca-Cola from Mexico. Refresco. I think that means refreshing in Mexico. I don't know if it's a twist off. Either way, I'm going to use the bottle opener. Now, have you had a Mexican Coke?
Dude, when I went to Mexico a long time ago, and I had Mexican Coke because a Mexican Coke was like 10 pesos or something like that, which was the equivalent of like 10 cents or something absurd like that. So I was going ham on some diet Mexican Coke, and I was living large. It was awesome. What's your verdict?
I mean, it's definitely Mexican Coke. Not only was it clearly marked as that, there's Spanish written all over this bottle. It says made in Mexico.
What's your verdict?
It tastes like Coke, dude. It tastes just like Coke.
Yeah.
Now, I don't drink much soft drinks, so maybe I just haven't had Coke in so long. There is a subtle difference, and I can't pick it up. It tastes exactly like I remember Coke. So I think I got shammed. This is bullcrap. All of you people that say it's better, up yours. You're fools. Try American Coke. It's the same thing.
So Coca-Cola is one of those things where it's like the whole point of it is that internationally it tastes the same. Like, I don't know why you'd see something different.
I don't know. I mean, it says cane sugar. So, I mean, it does have cane sugar, but I don't get it. I'm not that impressed, but whatever. What do you have to drink?
Yeah, I went to the candy store and I got a typical Adam drink. This is Lester's Fixins pickle soda.
Oh,
pickle soda.
Yes.
They warned me when I purchased it. Hey, watch out. It's sweet. I haven't tried it yet. I can't imagine how it's going to taste palatable. But I was telling you before we started recording that I've made a mistake. I have no backup gamer juice. I drink my water already. Or at best I have is like a few drops of iced coffee, but here we go.
I love it. This is like a Bean Boozle in a drink.
Oh, why do they even try to make it sweet? Like if they add sugar to it, I'm like, oh, I enjoy it now. No, it tastes like a pickle. It tastes like a pickle. Like, what are those pickles? Is it the dill pickle? No. There's those pickles that are like sweet.
Yeah, the butter pickles or whatever.
It tastes
Maybe
like
that's
that.
what you're talking about.
No,
I don't know.
You're right. That's it. It tastes like that, and I don't like it. But now I have to drink the whole thing.
Oh, so would you have liked it better if it were just pickle juice?
I think if it tasted like what it said on the, if it tasted like pickle, if it tastes, well, that's the pickle taste right there in my throat.
Well, okay, because so it's the aftertaste that's pickle.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like with the Bean Boozles, right? Like at first, it's like, okay, it's a jelly bean, whatever, kind of tastes bad, but then you burp, and it's like, oh, great, dog food has filled my mouth, barf has filled my mouth. It's that kind of thing.
Oof.
Which who do you think that this company survives entirely out of like novelty of people buying stuff because it's going to be bad tasting, or do you think there's these dudes out there who are like, oh, for some reason I can't get enough pickle soda, got to buy some more pickle soda?
No, it's all novelty. If you look, they have ranch, they've got peanut butter and jelly, they've got pancakes, they've got bacon, they've got corn, it's all novelty, all of it.
Oh,
What's not novel is the fact that the PSVR 2 is horribly uncomfortable. I have complained about it almost every podcast. It still blows my mind how it's so uncomfortable. And I've tried a multitude of fixes to alleviate this issue. Alex, you've heard of these issues to this point. You have played enough PSVR 2. Do you think it's uncomfortable?
I don't think it's uncomfortable in and of itself. I think it's less comfortable than the PSVR 1. I'll admit that. I think it's more comfortable than the Quest, even if you get weirdo Quest add-ons and stuff like that. So I think it's the second most comfortable headset I've worn, and I've worn a handful of VR headsets. So that's
is astounding. The other headsets must be unplayable because the PSVR 2 is the most uncomfortable device I've ever worn. It feels like you are in an episode or a movie of Saw.
And you've worn a sharp butt plug, and you still think it's more uncomfortable than that?
What about a butt plug?
You've worn a sharp butt plug.
I don't even know what you're talking about, but I'm moving on. Here, I have moved on to a new mod for the PSVR 2 headset.
I've heard about this one,
Globular Cluster. And so I want to give a bit of a review here. I am going to have an official review on the website. I'm going to make a little YouTube's video too. It's in the works, but I definitely want to share it because I feel like this is the Ferrari of PSVR 2 head straps / headset modification / comfort options for your headset. It truly is, I think, the best on the market. So first, it is from Globular Cluster. So a company I had never heard of. I think I saw this on Twitter, possibly. And I was like, okay, well, I should reach out. I've, reviewed a couple other options, and I don't want to get into pluses and minuses because I feel grimy, ranking these. But this, I will have to say, it was pretty incredible. Look at this absolute unit of a mod. Okay, the first thing, you have to rip off the horribly uncomfortable pads on the front and back of your PSVR 2 headset. One hand, that's a good thing. They suck. So get rid of them. Put something better there. Second thing, I will admit it's a little worrisome because you have to pry it off of the headset. And I have to feel, I could be wrong, I didn't do research, I have to feel like that might hurt your warranty. Like if you F up bad and you hurt the headset, Sony's not going to just fix it for you. You're going to have to pay for that crap. Anyhow, so that's the first thing you got to do. And what I think is outstanding and incredible about this thing is, let me open this box. The insane amount of customization that you can have with this product is wild. So the front headband, the pad. So right now I have a pad in. This is designed for comfort, designed for sweat absorption. They give you 3 options, Alex. There's 3 options of different pads to put on everywhere on your headset. This is a pad that is fabric and foam for washability. You can wash this thing and it's sweat absorbing. It feels good. Like they each have their own distinct feel to them.
If I wanted to put the extra pad in my underwear, is that allowed?
100%. I mean, it would be too big for you, but yeah, you could do that. This is a I'm not sure, polyurethane gel and foam. So it's easy to clean. It has a different feel. It's also sweat proof. And then the other, like right here, I can just rip this out, add it back in. This guy is fabric, gel, and foam, sweat absorbing, washable. I mean,
Wait, but that one's are they just all washable? So I don't understand the distinction between them.
Well, one is waterproof, or not waterproof, it's sweat proof. So you can't, like, it's not fabric. It's almost more, it's not latex. It kind of feels like the pad that's already in the headset, but it's more cushiony. So you can't wash that one like in the washer. These others are fabric. So in my opinion, they feel better. They definitely have a totally different feel, a different amount of like give when you're wearing the headset, and they kind of absorb the sweat. Whereas the other one, the sweat would just run off of it because it's sweat proof. So next we've got this strap on the top. This has another pad. There isn't another strap that doesn't have a pad if you'd prefer it. And then if you look, and again, on my YouTube video, I go way more in detail on this stuff, but there is like I don't even know what to call it, like its own separate round apparatus that goes on the back of the headset, kind of replaces the pad that's on the back of the PSVR 2 headset. And it's got this round apparatus, and that has its very own pad, and there's 3 different pads for it. Now, if you look, it really takes up a lot of room when you just look at the headset. So I have to extend the headset more when I put it on my head, but I will admit, this is far and away the best product and the best comfort providing solution that I have found. You're surrounded. You have more give because the material, the foam, any of these little options that you have for the material is better than what it used to be. The others, again, I don't want to do direct comparisons, but the other solutions it was almost like a Band-Aid. Like they definitely helped, but it didn't fully solve the issue. This straight up solves the issue. I love it because there's so much customization. That, I will also admit, could be a downfall. It took me a long time to try the different pads, see which one I liked, taking them in and out. It took me a little while to figure out how do you even get this thing to work. If I'm being honest, it seems a little overkill, but it solves the problem. And what I like is it's a little overkill, but you don't get the overkill price. Right now, you go on Globular Cluster, this is $50, which is, depending on the other options and what you're looking at in terms of the other comfort options, that is either cheaper or on par with everything else. Yet again, you get all of the customization, you get a lot more for your money, and it solves the problem. It's not a Band-Aid to it. So
did they give us a code that we can give to customers to type in so that they know it came from us?
They did not. I guess I could ask for that.
No. We're not customers. If you do it, use code pickle juice. Just see what happens.
Do pickle juice. So if you find that the PSVR 2 is still uncomfortable, I say this is what I'm going to recommend. Hands down. It stays on your head. I've played Crossfire Sierra Squad. I've played Gran Turismo. I've played Sea Smash. I've played Walkabout. The headset's not moving. And because it adds so much more padding, you can really crank down the dial and it will stay on your head, and yet it doesn't feel uncomfortable. You don't get those headaches. You don't get those pressure points. The one thing I will say, I'm having a little harder time keeping the sweet spot, but not enough to where it makes me even for a second consider taking it off. The comfort is well worth having to adjust it, pause the game every now and then to adjust and wiggle the headset around to get the sweet spot again. Globular Cluster PSVR 2 comfort mod. I'll put the link in the description. Look for that YouTube video. Look on playpsvr.com. There'll be an official review. Good stuff. Alex, for your bulbous head, this might be a decent option for yourself if you want the same amount of comfort as the PSVR 1 headset provided.
I mean, let's see. I don't think I tried any of these things for the PSVR 1. There was like that vertical strap you could do, but it seemed kind of unnecessary. I tried these things for the Quest and they worked. Like you couldn't use the Quest without one of these types of things. My concern about this is I think the sweet spot thing, the setup could be annoying. Like once you have it, say you pick the pads you like and you don't anticipate changing it, is it just good to go from then on out?
Yeah. And like this weekend, I had a friend come and play on the PSVR, and I was like, well, at that point, I'm like, dude, sorry, I'm not changing the pads or the setting. It is what it is, man. You're gonna have to live with it. You play it for like 20 minutes at a time. I live with it. So tough titties.
I live in it.
Yeah.
So have you washed them yet? Have you put them through a wash?
I've sweat, but I have not washed. I mean, I'm probably gonna hand wash. I don't want to risk. It says washable. They look machine washable, but I'm not going to risk it. I mean, I'm not going to be playing these games where I'm just sweating like a fiend. And if I do, I may switch. I mean, you saw me in real time rip it off. That's how easy it is to switch. If I would do that, I would maybe put the one that is more like the normal pad that is sweat proof. So I don't have to wash it. I just wipe it off.
All right. What issue were you having with the headset itself that you required? Like, what was hurting?
The pressure point. So to keep it on your head, you have to tighten the back so much. And with the first headset, there was that frontal pad, and it was huge. It was so there was a lot of surface area to hold the pressure. That doesn't exist anymore. So the pressure points were just agonizing. And this, like I said, alleviates that. Again, look at their official reviews. Alex, we have
I got another question, Adam. I got one more question.
Oh, my goodness.
What headphones were you using when you used this? Did you use like over-the-ear stuff like this? Or like the Sony
I did.
Pulse?
I used the official Sony. I'm sorry, I forgot.
Pulse headset, yeah.
Yeah, I did the Pulse 3D.
So I used the Pulse headset, and it's like, I don't have much real estate, right? When I put it on, like, there's nowhere else for it to go. Like, it barely fits over the bars of the, like, VR headset for it to like finally go down. Is that the same thing for you?
Yeah.
Okay.
And wearing those did help, but it still hurt when I played it.
Well, no, but this doesn't get in the way of that. I'm wondering about like, would I be able to use this? Is that looks like there's an extra pad on top? Is that gonna get in the way of the Pulse?
You can still use it. And there's another strap that doesn't have padding on top. So and you don't even have to have a strap up top.
Okay. Sometimes I wonder why not just go full board, just make a VR helmet, you know? Like just
dead serious. And it's almost kind of what this is.
A lightweight plastic shell that's just like a motorcycle helmet. And that way I don't have to mess around with it anymore. I know what's going on. It's right there. It's in my face.
That would be awesome. Yeah, I don't know. Okay.
It might get hot, yeah.
Tons of news.
Yeah.
And we're gonna do like a mini master debater. I don't care about this stuff, Alex. I don't care about a lot of the news. Some of it you do care about. You give me the news. I'm gonna tell you why I don't care.
All right, mini master debater news edition, and we're gonna decide if this is valid news for people to worry about. Okay, Adam. Right out of the gate, I love this one. Light Brigade, the Memories of War upgrade. They got new weapons. They got new accessories like helmets. They got new character classes. They even give you a cigar you can smoke while you're smoking the baddies. It's free upgrade. It's out. You can use it. You got new guns. Adam, you haven't even played Light Brigade. It's one of the best games you could be playing right now. Does this not move any needle for you at all whatsoever?
I don't care. Guess what? It applies to 15% of the PSVR 2 user base to actually purchase this game. More newsworthy would be if the game actually goes on effing sale once in a while. How about put it on a sale and then you give us an upgrade that maybe we would care about? I don't care about this, Alex. I want new games. I'm glad it's a good game. I'm glad you like it. But, dude, give me a sale and...
It was on sale like last week. It might be on sale right now.
Bull crap. I've been watching it. I have played Gorn and I have played Actually, I haven't played Townsman VR, but I'm going to, because Light Brigade wasn't on sale. Gorn sucks, by the way. If you want a freaking phone game on your PSVR 2, that's Gorn for you.
How much did you pay for Gorn?
Not telling you.
You got to tell me now.
No. Move on. We got too much news. Next.
All right. Firewall Ultra has seen a bevy of patches. Most notably, I think they made the ADS easier for people to work with. The big one is that so surprise, surprise, Firewall Ultra launched and people couldn't squad up with their friends. You couldn't invite your friends to your squad, just like what happened with Firewall 0 Hour. They fixed that in the patch, thankfully. And apparently they took the ready time down from 2 minutes down to 30 seconds. So people are saying, okay, it's better already. There's some better stuff there. So good if you like Firewall Ultra, you can spend your time playing Firewall Ultra instead of playing who can count most accurately in the lobby like I did when I played. None of that stuff is really making me want to go back. I just need to go back just so I can I think my approach is just I don't play the game right. I just got to learn how to play the game right, which is frustrating. But is this news anything fun for you, Adam?
Newsflash, a-hole. No one cares. Guess what? You came out with an irrelevant game, worse gameplay, less variety, more annoying, sandwiched between a Game of the Year candidate and then Crossfire Sierra Squad, which is another really good shooter. You provide nothing new in the game space other than just being another shooter. No, they could never come out with a patch, or they could come out with a patch every day for the next 5 years. I could care less. Unless they come out with a brand new game, I'm not buying it and I'm not caring.
What is your Game of the Year candidate you're mentioning?
Pavlov.
Oh, okay.
I mean, for PSVR 2.
I get you. I mean, you're right. Pavlov was like all we needed, right?
Yeah.
I think the only thing missing for Pavlov is like a meaningful single player, which Firewall doesn't provide. And maybe like some progression stuff. Like, it would be cool in Pavlov to get like new outfits or something like that as you play the game and unlock stuff, but I don't really need that much more. Yeah.
I mean, I throw a friend in prop hunt. They have an absolute hoot.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just it's got everything. Move on.
I got to say one other thing. I don't want to gloss over it. One of the issues with Firewall Ultra was that there was a character. If you pre-order the game and put a bunch of money and got the paid money to get the credits to buy new characters and stuff like that, instead of naturally getting them through play progression, there's a character whose buff is that they can see through walls, which is just like, okay, everybody's obviously going to use that, but the only way to get it is to pay for that character, which is just right out of the gate explains why I was getting destroyed. And also, it's pretty crappy practice to just kind of like put, a game-breaking ability behind a paywall. So they gave everybody like 100,000 crypto credits or whatever, so you can buy stuff in the store. But I think really it's just everybody has to buy that character now, so they can get that boost for their character and they can see through. And then it's just seeing through walls simulator. I kind of don't get this.
No,
game
they need
concept.
to remove that ability. That is so stupid. That's like you're Superman and everyone else is a freaking henchman. Like, that's all. I don't get it.
To be fair, it's like you can only see through walls if people are making noise. So if they're walking and not, or if they're running and not walking, or if they're shooting guns or opening doors, then you see it. But like that's what it's so game breaking.
We've already talked too much about Firewall. Next.
Thank you, Adam. Crossfire's had patches come out already. There were issues with people, their gun sights weren't aiming down properly. It felt weird in their hands. They released patches to allow you to adjust that. I forget what the other patch stuff did. It seemed like a meaningful patch that came out at launch. But from what I hear from you, Adam, there might be some other bugs to work out. We'll talk about that later in another segment. But does this move the needle for you at all?
I mean, standard stuff. They should. I mean, I guess I care because I want the game to work. They did it soon, like the day after the game launched. I have a bigger issue, but we'll talk about it in the next segment.
Okay. This one. So it was rumored, but now it's out and we know the particulars. A Fisherman's Tale, prequel to Another Fisherman's Tale, is out on PS5. $3.99 for the upgrade to the PS5 version. Actually, they said it was a $3.99 upgrade. Actually, it's just $3.99 for the game right now, and its normal price is going to be $15. How are you feeling about this, Adam? We talked about this. Is $3.99 that price where you would buy it so you could have it on PS5?
Here's a rumor. No one cares. It's a PSVR game. Don't buy it. Don't support this crap. They came out with PS or the sequel. That's cool if you want to buy that one. I'm not playing it. I don't care.
I mean, I care because it's one of the best games in PSVR, and the teleportation was bad, so now you can do smooth locomotion. It's obviously got better tracking, so all those puzzles that require tracking, and now it's available for you, a person who drops their friends in VR and makes them play stuff. This is like one of the true mind-bending games in VR, so I think it's nice. I would have appreciated a free upgrade. I think it's weird that all these companies are going different routes with how they upgrade stuff. I don't know if it's just a lack of direction from Sony or what. But $3.99, I bit.
You look like a chode if you make people pay to upgrade now. That's what it turns out to.
Yeah, I guess Song in the Smoke came out of the gate, and it was like, yeah, you already got a free upgrade. There you go, you're done. So
yeah, once people start doing free upgrades early on, if you make pay, it just I'm not saying it's unfair, but you don't look great. People don't love you. Next,
yeah. Next, Down and Out. We talked about this briefly. It's a game where you basically are walking around in the city and beating up hobos, beating up people walking on the street. To me, gave off strong drunken bar fight VR vibes. It's coming out September 14th. Adam, do you care about this one?
I care 4 out of 10. And that, drunken bar fight, I thought was hilarious. If they go the same route, something I would consider playing, but it's not going to be something with much staying power. So that's why I care a little bit. This is the most significant news you've given me thus far. I'll put it that way.
If I said the drunken bar fight was being brought and it was a $1 upgrade, would that be more significant news?
Yeah, because that means guess what? I just saved $1 because I'm not buying it.
I hated drunken bar fight. It would suck so much. I don't know why you loved it so much.
Dude, it's so fun. You're just tossing people over the freaking rooftop bar.
Oh,
You're throwing darts in people's eyes. You're beating them with pull cues. And I mean, it was a comical game, but if you just sucked at it, that's probably why.
It was one of those games I played on the summer May days, and it was like, I have to play an hour of this. After like 15 minutes, I was ready to be done.
I'd rather play that than Firewall.
True. Okay, moving on. Drums Rock dropping more, I believe it's free DLC, the Undertale DLC. So they got some Undertale songs in Drums Rock. Megalovania, I haven't played Undertale, but I like the song Megalovania. I think everybody does. They also added, they probably listened to my review of it, an extreme mode, a more difficult mode for Drums Rock, which is what I thought it probably needed because even the hard mode wasn't 1-to-1. I don't know the particulars of the extreme mode. I didn't watch the video where they announced it, but I'm happy it's coming. I'm happy they're releasing stuff. I like that they're releasing branded DLC, game music DLC. That's exciting. Is there a game that you want to see added to Drums Rock DLC, Adam?
Nier. It would be so epic, though, that people wouldn't be able to do it. Your pants would be off before half the song's over. Here's the thing. I played Undertale. Finally, a game that I played. You haven't. You suck. Good game. I feel like what makes it great, though, is the context. So without the context of the game, I don't know how good the music is going to be. But it's cool. I'm glad, especially if it's free. I'm cool they're coming out with it. Undertale's one of those indie darlings. A lot of people have good juju toward it. So I think that's, they're going to get some fans with that one. So,
I mean, if you play it and now you have the context, like the context sticks with you when you listen to the music. That's why the music's fun to play. But like I said, I had not played the game. Megalovania is an outright banger. So I'm happy to dive back into Drums Rock and see how that goes.
It wasn't even that good, honestly. The like intro or the theme was freaking awesome.
There's another song. I don't know which song it is that's included, but
I mean, surely there's more than 2 songs, right?
No, they're just doing like 2 songs. I think that's what they did for Blasphemous as well.
DLC. Don't care.
No. It's free. It's free.
I guess that's true. But dang, man, 2 songs
Let me
that
see. Yeah, I'm
don't
pretty
do it.
sure it's
Okay, move
free.
on. We gotta move on. There's too much stuff. There's too
All
much
right,
stuff.
Adam. Sea Smash coming out with an update in September. One player infinity mode, co op modes added, and 40 new levels. Does that move a needle for you?
I love me some C Smash. I love the Infinity mode. Here's the thing. I liked Tetris because I can get in there and just zone out, and I don't have to worry about score. I don't have to worry about the speed. I don't have to worry about finishing on a level. This is what C Smash is providing. I can get in there and I can just smack some balls around, and I don't got to worry about hitting certain numbers of squares. I don't have to worry about my timing or my accuracy. It's just me and the balls, and that's the way I like it. So
Yeah,
yes, I care.
the the video footage of it, the infinity mode looked good. The new levels looked good. Like that. This is what the game needs to have those legs to stay for a while. I think you need people playing single player a lot to keep that multiplayer community active. You play single player, you feel good about yourself, then you want to try it out on multiplayer. So I'm glad they've added more stuff here. I just checked. Drums Rock, the Undertale DLC is $3.49. You can buy the songs individually.
Oh,
You can buy the songs individually for $1.99. Adam, the other song is called Hopes and Dreams. Is that the theme song?
It dropped down to a 0.2 out of 10. Don't do it. You're getting robbed. What is happening?
If you don't have Drums Rock, you can buy Drums Rock and the Undertale DLC for $21.99, which is like a $1 discount.
What?
Oh,
everyone's like, Alex's mom's at it tonight. Okay, next.
Pixel Ripped 1995 is getting a free update. So people who have bought it, they're getting a free update. I'm happy to hear it. This is the one game out of the 3 that I haven't played, but I did buy it, hoping there'd be a free update or at least a cheap update. Well, guess what? I'm just going to be getting a free update, and I'm super pumped about it. Thoughts?
That's what I'm talking about. Free. Would I play it? Probably not, especially if I played on the PSVR. But yes, that's what I'm talking about. Free updates. Thank you, Pixel Ripped.
Nice. Paper Beast has been officially announced now. So that artistic game people love on PSVR 1. It's being released with an upgrade for PSVR 2, but also adding a flat mode to the game as well. Adam, you didn't play Paper Beast. Our buddy Will said it's one of his favorite games on PSVR 1. That late in the stage of PSVR 1, I kind of didn't want to play those games because it's like the controls aren't going to get good. But now the controls are fixed because you have analog sticks. So any excitement there? I think they said it would be like a small fee to upgrade, but I don't remember exactly. Yeah.
Will is full of crap. I could care less. I would rather pay $3.50 to play Drums Rock Undertale than play this for free. Next.
All right. Well, the Foglands developers, I forget their name, forgive me, guys, but this is Foglands is a game, another roguelike first-person shooter that was announced at the same time Synapse was announced. And they didn't show too much then, but now they're showing little bits of footage here and there, inventory management system, shooting, stuff like that. And I'm telling you, the game's looking real good. It might just be me riding off the high of Synapse. Synapse was announced at the same time, came out, it just blew me away. If Foglands has like half the magic of Synapse, and this is a super exciting thing. And I will say the mechanics look good. I mean, the game's looking solid from what they're showing us with a little drip feed of news. But is this doing anything for you, Adam?
Do we know when it's coming out?
I think it's this year. I don't recall if we have a release date. I'll find out for you right now. Adam, why aren't you playing Synapse? I just want to ask.
It's not on sale. I'm not buying a game that's 2 months old full price. That's like going to a bakery on Tuesday to buying stuff that's been sitting there over the weekend. I'm not doing it. It needs to be discounted. So when they put it on sale, I will buy it. But until then, stop asking about it. I'm not buying it, and I'm not playing it.
It's so worth the full price. The developers are well-told entertainment for Foglands, and the release date is still to be determined according to the PlayStation Store. But Synapse is worth every freaking penny, man. It's like $30. Just get on it. Moving on, Alvo PSVR 2 version, official launch September 14th. Adam, is there any space in your heart for a game that seems to be basically the same thing as Pavlov, just maybe a bit janky? they characterize themselves as this is Counter-Strike in VR, which Pavlov is more like Call of Duty Deathmatch, and Firewall Ultra is more about like Rainbow Six type methodical approach. Is there anything making you want to play it, aside from the fact that it might be a free upgrade and you already own Alvo?
We're at the point we have too many of these games. There are so many games and genres and media that we need. Where are the horror games? We've got 80 shooters. The answer to your question is I might play it out of, I feel obligated because we run this podcast. But if it weren't for that, I'm going to be honest, I would not play it. Sierra Squad, I think, is really good. I like Pavlov. I'm not playing Firewall. I just don't see where I'm. Oh, you're right. I don't have room. There's no room in the inn. Go sleep with the donkeys.
All right. Last thing here. I think you're going to love this, Adam. PlayStation Plus price increase.
Normally
the premium was $120. It's jumping up to $160 for the premium edition.
A year?
For a year, yeah. $160 a year.
No. Listen, this is going to be... We got to save this. I need more than 2 to 5 minutes to rant about this.
Well, okay, that's...
Cerny, you big freaking loser. I'm going to do something.
I'll say, is it the question isn't whether or not you like it. It's, is the news relevant, Adam?
Oh, yeah. I don't know. If walking to work, I get mugged, beaten, and $40 stolen from my wallet, is that relevant, Alex? Because that's exactly what's happening.
Oh, I will say, I think you have a little bit of time. I forget when that new price goes live. It might be September 6th. It doesn't give us much time. It'll probably already be passed by the time the podcast goes live. But I just re-upped because my re-up was coming soon. And I paid the $120.
Save it. We're going to talk about it because I am going to lay into these people. It is unfathomable, the anger and the angst that is boiling up inside of me. Guess what? You got to pay $160 to play, what's that stupid game they have, Ape Escape. Oh, boy. I can't wait.
Humanity.
Freaking piece of crap.
All right.
Well, you playing, mother.
Well, Adam C.
Thanks for ending the segment on a sour note.
We're gonna, Adam. Let's go play a little bit of Crossfire. Get your jimmies out, and then we'll come back for segment 2. So we'll see all of you after the break. All right, welcome back to episode 132 of Play PS132, the podcast. Segment 2. Adam and I took a quick break between segments to play some Crossfire Sierra Squad so we could hit you up with our latest impressions, our fresh takes. You can tell I have the evidence all over my face. Looks like I need a globular cluster, Adam. I got these red marks all over my face. I'm not fooling anybody. Yeah, it's I don't know what that's about. It didn't hurt that much, but we played the squad missions, right? Is that what they're called, Adam?
Yep, we did. So I've played 8 episodes in single player. We just did squad mission. I don't know. I'm not gonna lie. This is the game I wanted. Now, admittedly, I did purchase this with my own money. Okay, no review code, so I can just let her rip, right? And not feel bad. I let her rip anyhow, but sometimes I feel bad about the mean things I say. In this case, straight up, this is what I wanted, Alex. Now, I know there is a plot. The thing is, they try to talk to you when you're in the middle of battle. Yeah. Like, you can focus on what they're saying and plot when you're in the middle of a freaking... It's as far from a ceasefire as you could imagine. So I'm like, what? There's no way I can comprehend and do both. Anyhow, yeah, I've got pretty good first impressions. I'm liking what I'm seeing so far. I'm surprised. The few online things I've seen, we'll get to that later. But very quickly, Alex, before you also dive in, I like one, it is responsive, it's fast paced. You get to use a ton of different guns without needing to reload and create your own loadouts. Like if you don't do anything for each mission, they'll give you a new gun, which is neat.
Yeah.
It's easy to reload. It's just it's like a good arcade shooter between, I guess, maybe a wave shooter and Pavlov. It's like in between those.
Yeah.
Right in the sweet spot where I like it. Like I was telling you, I like playing Pavlov with bots because you still move around and you're not getting headshotted and killed in one shot. This is kind of that. It feels good. Then the squad missions, we didn't have any issues talking, connecting, playing. It is much easier and it's more fun playing with a person than Raul, who just sits there and soaks up bullets. And I mean, essentially has no type of strategy whatsoever. It's good. So far, I am having a good time in it.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I guess we should lay out what type of game this is. I mean, Adam and I really just wanted a game where we could play, co-op and go through levels and shoot guys and stuff like that. And that's not a lot to ask for. But one thing I'll say, it's not. It's not a co-op shooter like Farpoint was, where you have these long levels and there's set pieces and stuff like that. It's not that. This is more, people have made the comparison, more like Time Crisis, but you can walk around, which is cool because there's, places you can obviously have cover and stuff like that. When you first start the game, it's very confusing because you have like the story mode, but I think the story mode is essentially just like a very extended tutorial. There's like 9 chapters. The first level, you like are basically in a room and you can't leave the room and you shoot some guys and it's done. And you're like, that was a level. But then you kick back to the shooting range and they're like, okay, now try throwing a grenade. And now we're going to go through a level where you need to throw some grenades. So don't be put off when you first play. The meat of the game is not in the story mode. That's kind of a setting up a tutorial. The meat of the game is in the squad missions and it's intended for multiplayer, but you can play them solo. And as Adam said, you can have an AI partner, which really just, the second bad guys show up, he's down on the ground.
So I don't even know. Like I said, I'm 9 episodes in, 8. The first one obviously was like pretty easy. One, I feel like it's pretty difficult. So that's very untutorial like. And 2, I am still enjoying it. I would actually say that is the meat of the game. Now, I'm only an hour and a half in, so maybe that's certainly part of it. But I don't know. Like, I'm fine with the single player and playing it that way. I don't need you dragging me down. I don't need these guys, who is it, Money Williamson, sending me invites all the time, wanting to play. Like, I don't know. I like it. I would look forward to both. Co-op is awesome, but I think the single player is dope too.
Yeah, it's kind of hard. I mean, I've enjoyed the single player. I really enjoyed the co-op. I thought that was really, really well done. So as you said, Adam, it's an arcade shooter, right? So you can take a lot of hits apparently. Enemies can take a lot of hits, and once we unlock or try the realism mode, maybe that'll change how things work. It sounds like a couple bullets take you down, which I'm thinking of Time Crisis or something. It is a bit disappointing or frustrating sometimes when you've like unloaded a clip into a normal dude and he's not dead. That happens, like you were saying when we were just playing, that I'm busting a dude in the head 2 or 3 times. I know it's a headshot because the crosshair is red when it hits, and they're still not dead. But I think once you get into realism mode, that's probably resolved. But realism mode is going to be freaking difficult when those snipers are just like popping off shots left and right, and you have no quick way of recovering. Just to recap what we did, Adam, we played the squad missions. The first one was pretty standard, walk through a level, then you get to an area where like you're behind a wall, the enemies are on the other side of the wall. They can't get across, but they keep coming out in waves till eventually this boss comes out, which is kind of just like a bigger version of the normal dudes. You got the basic enemy types. You got a guy who shoots rocket launchers at you. You have a guy who snipes you. And then you have the standard guys with machine guns. And every once in a while, you get a guy running out with a shield, which is really a pain in the ass to deal with because you have to like either hit them from behind with a grenade or like shoot them in the leg or get lucky and kind of chip a shot at their head off the top. I hate the shield dudes and single. You seem to have no problem with it. What do you do? Yeah, there's those dudes that have like the full body shield. I can like do nothing to them.
Shoot at the wiener. That's literally what I do because I guess this is an arcade shooter, so a headshot and a wiener shot do the same damage. So why aim for the head, which is harder to get? Shoot him in the legs.
Adam is always looking at wieners too, so he had basically
It's
auto
natural. Immediately look at the eyesight down. Boom.
Yeah, you should see him in a changing room in a gym. It's incredible.
my neck hurts the next day from bent neck syndrome. Okay, so the only thing, and again, this could change. I see the progression through the levels. My only complaint, literally, I think of the whole game. The first time I had issues, tracking was wonky, but I think the patch fixed that.
Yeah.
I don't like that a lot of these levels to this point are you move and then you have a little area and it's a wave shooter. I don't like that.
What would you like instead?
I would like free reign. Let it be an open level, kind of like Farpoint was. Where one thing I do if I'm getting overwhelmed, I like to backtrack.
Like to retreat. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, retreat, kind of recover, set up where I want. This, you can't do that. If you try to retreat, you get to a point that's not very far out of your little region that you're supposed to protect or live in, and it says, hey, you're outside of the
outside of the play
zone.
operation zone. Yeah, I mean,
and
you can retreat a little bit though. I was surprised at how far back I could go, but I see what you're saying. Yeah, it doesn't feel like you're in a level. It feels like you're in like a couple of connected small levels, right?
Yeah, and that I don't like wave shooters. I mean, this is if you consider this a wave shooter, which I think you would have an argument for, it is the best wave shooter I've played by far. And not every level is like that. Some of them are you move and you're moving while popping shots off. And admittedly, this might in a lot of situations give you the freedom to play so it's not a wave shooter. Like there's no reason I can't constantly strafe and constantly move throughout the level. I'm thinking episode 7, for example, they drop you in, immediately enemies start coming to you. You have a big area that you can move kind of forward and there's things to dodge behind, but your natural instinct is to stay back, let them come to you, and then you pop them off as they come. But that's a wave shooter. So I guess I could play it as though it's not a wave shooter, but just the natural tendency and maybe even the smart thing is to play it defensively and do that. That's literally, I think, my only complaint of the game so far. I think everything else is intuitive. Alex, when you and I played, I like that we got to a level where we had to actually strategize how to beat someone.
Yeah.
Because we died 3 times? It was obvious what we originally did wasn't working. You found out you were in an area and the enemy spawned and were able to pop you off too easily. Like there's strategy behind it. So it's not just a mindless, bullet hell. You just shoot, and if you shoot more than them, you're going to win. Like you can apply strategy. Granted, probably not as much strategy as Firewall or one of those tactical shooters, but I like that about it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, speaking of strategy, that last level we played, so the third squad mission we played, there was like a snow level. And because there's snow, like you can't really see very well. Adam just had a new loadout, so he didn't want to pick up any of the guns off the ground. But if you pick up the guns off the ground, you get night vision in the scope, which was like, it didn't really tell it to you. It just happens, and you're like, wow, this is pretty cool. All the enemies, when I looked through the scope, I could see the enemy. So I'd see like a laser for a sniper coming at me. So I'd follow the laser with my scope and I'd see some dude in a tower, and Adam couldn't see him, but I could see him, and I'd snipe him. And it really, okay. So that was really cool. I didn't expect it. That's the thing. This game like throws things at me that I think like would be outside of the scope of a game that's as relatively simple as this game. A good example is the sniping. It might be the best sniping in VR I've ever encountered because of that breath hold mechanic. Have you done that yet, Adam?
I have. The only thing is right off the bat, it's a bit like you move up to your head and then you zoom in automatically, right? And it's disorienting because you're like, wait, where am I looking now? And then it's difficult to look through a scope and find people when they're also shooting at you. But the breath hold thing is interesting. It makes it easier.
Yeah.
However, Yeah, I think it's interesting. I don't know, but I don't know.
It's like the only way. I honestly kind of don't know how or why it works so well. It feels like bullet time almost, right? Because it adds like an inertia to your gun. So you're not, he's thinking VR, right? Your hands are wobbly and stuff because you're holding them in air. But when you half pull the trigger, then it like adds inertia to the gun so you can really line up the shot and then pull it. And if you hold it too long, you're holding your breath and you lose control of it and you can only do it so much. But something like, I played Sniper Elite VR on the PSVR 1 with the aim controller. Super fun, but that mechanic's not there. And I think like that kind of thing, that feels so good. I'd love to see Sniper Elite 5 in VR with that same mechanic. I want to see any other game with a sniper rifle, but this game's doing a good job of it. And certainly the end of that level was really fun where you had the guys coming up with machine guns, you were taking those guys out, and then snipers were popping up in the distance that you couldn't see. And I was sniping those guys. Just worked really well. It's surprising. All truth be told, the game's very simple. You shoot the guys and then they shoot you, and you just shoot them more than they shoot you, and they die. And there's cover. You're swapping guns. There's tons of guns in the game. That's cool.
Yeah.
They all have different, so the reloading. People might not like this. It's like somewhere in between like the automatic reload and the manual reload. You have to put your hand where you're going to reload and then just hold down the trigger, and it does a quick animation while you're there, which I think is a good middle ground for an arcade game like this. But yeah, I'm having a surprisingly better time with it than I thought I did. I think the harsh feedback that I've heard from people that like, oh, it's just a simple arcade shooter is a bit too unfair considering like Crisis Brigade. That is like Time Crisis in VR, but that's a really simple wave shooter where you're just like, okay, wait for the bullets to stop, then I pop up and shoot and then hide again. This is something more like an evolution of the arcade shooter space. And I think that's kind of a thing is people don't quite know how to contextualize this. They come in thinking like it's a level shooter. They come in thinking it's a squad shooter. It is what we all hoped Bravo Team would have been on PSVR 1, I think. And it's, I don't know, man. I was reluctant to stop playing so that we could record segment 2, which is always a good sign for these games. That said, it's kind of frustrating to play on your own. So caveat emptor there, you might watch out if you're only planning to play it by yourself. But Adam, you said you had a good time by yourself.
Yeah, and I think that's where it's individual preference, right? I don't mind playing by myself whatsoever because this is what I wanted. Like I have fun, busting guys, getting against the wall. You busted, I pop off. Now, it's not exactly like Pavlov where, again, if you shoot them in the head, boom, they're gone. But I really like the game. The only thing, like I already mentioned, I'm not going to harp on it. If it were more of a Farpoint-esque, like you have a level, because the thing is, the levels are they're decent sized. I'm not unhappy with the size of the levels. I'm unhappy where, like you're mentioning, you're moving seemingly from one big area where it's a wave shooter into the level where there's a few guys here or there, and then you go into another area that's a wave shooter, and then you do that 2 or 3 times. So they've got the right size map, but it's too concentrated on little areas that feels like you're trying to defend, and the wall, your back is against the wall, you're having to kill wave shooters. So, but again, I saw the first 3 single player episodes were just like that. And then there were a couple that weren't like that. And I felt like I was constantly moving. Maybe there were very minor little areas where it was a little bit like wave shootery. So that may start to phase out when you get later in the game. And maybe in the squad missions, the early episodes, you're still getting your feet wet. And then obviously single player is somewhat like a tutorial. So that could change. So I'm not judging it quite yet, but that's literally the only thing I would want to change. This does make me miss the dang aim controller, man. It would be so good. You need to try the Vader 1 or I'm going to smack you in the face.
We're too far. I'm never going to meet you at the AFE again because I don't want you to smack me in the face. No, I agree. Some of the most fun I have playing is when I am like shooting from the hip and not holding it up to my face. And I'm using the laser sight to aim my shots. And what's really fun, surprisingly, a lot of games I feel cheap doing this. In this game, just because there's so many enemies, they take so many bullets, hiding behind cover and doing the blind fire and then watch the guys get hit. That feels so good. And it's like they want you to do it, right? It says on one of the load screens, it's like, shoot from around cover if you have to take these enemies out. I think there was one of the big boys that has like a minigun. I like got in a sweet spot at one point, and I could just like reach around and just fire off. One thing that
You're
bothers
good at
me,
those reach arounds.
I'm excellent at reaching. I've reached around and got the big boy off. It was great. The thing about the shooting, at least the guns that I've been using, they have like 30 bullets, and it would take me anywhere from like 10 to 15 bullets to take down a standard enemy. And so what's happening is it's like I have to reload between enemies. And if you have like 2 or 3 enemies, you're going to reload 2 or 3 times. And I don't know, it breaks up the flow a little bit, right? Like I would love to feel like this awesome squad dude where I'm just like pop, 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 and then reload. But instead it's always like, okay, kill that guy and then back up into cover, reload, kill that guy back. And I don't know. Maybe I need to play in an easier mode. I think realism mode would probably certainly help in that manner. And it could also just be that I'm not picking the right guns for the missions, because when you start and you're in the shooting range, you want to just look ahead at the shooting range, and it looks like there's just a couple of guns in front of you to play with. If you look around, every gun in the game is there for you to kind of grab and feel. And I'll say, these guns feel great. This feels like what a Gun Club VR should have been, or something like that, where it just, I don't know, every gun feels a bit unique. They all have different kinds of pop to them. They all have their own kind of place where it's like, yeah, that would probably be fun to use. Even I never liked using shotguns. Even the shotguns are fun.
Yeah. Then they, side note, I got a new gamer juice because I was like, why not? It's called Black. I think it's Blackwater, BLK. It is, I don't know what the heck. It has fulvic acid.
Are you sure it's not coffee?
No, it's definitely not coffee, 100%.
Why is there a watermelon on it?
It has fulvic minerals. There's a watermelon, yep, because it's flavored. Okay. But it has just antioxidants and I don't know what the heck this stuff is. A fulvic mineral complex. I found it at Jungle Gyms. I've been drinking. It's literally black. It doesn't taste great. I'm not gonna lie. So I was coughing because I'm trying to down it because it's not very good. Yeah, like I said, I'm looking forward to jumping back in. It's what I wanted. It's like sometimes I want to play Pavlov. It's very good, but again, the competitive nature is just difficult to swallow when people are so much better than you. Yeah. This, I don't have to worry about it. I'm by myself. I'm with Raul or James or Terry, and we're just going through missions. It's fun stuff. I like Alex. The $30, I think I'm going to get my money's worth out of that. I do not regret purchasing it now. Next time we'll be able to put it on our list. I want to play it some more before I actually obviously like fully judge it. But right now I think pretty good first impressions. And then what do you think makes I've played After the Fall. I prefer this way more than After the Fall.
Yeah.
They're both kind of wave shooters, right?
Yeah.
What do you think makes this better?
Yeah, After the Fall is kind of a wave shooter, right? You just go from point to point, and then the enemies come at you and you shoot. I mean, the environments are bigger in After the Fall, so it feels more thorough, and you do like have minimal interaction. But I think what makes this better is the gunplay feels a lot better. I think the gun customization, like there's stuff we didn't really dive into, right? Like you can buy new weapons, you can buy mods for the weapons, you can upgrade the weapons, which is all stuff you can kind of do in After the Fall. But in this, it's very granular. So if you want to go in there and like build an awesome gun, it's cool. But I think in the end, they might all kind of be doing the same thing. No, I think what's happening with this game, the reason we're having such an inexplicable good time with it, is that it knows what it is, and it's not trying to pretend to be like a tactical shooter. It's not trying to pretend to be a scary zombie game. It knows that, like, all right, the gun's got to feel good to shoot, and we're going to give you things to shoot with the guns, and we're not going to like make you feel awful for not hiding behind cover perfectly every single time. And the amount of content just seems to be pretty pretty large. Like the squad missions, they said that there was like 10 levels or something for single player, and then for co-op mode, which I think is a squad missions, there was like 40 or something absurd like that. And we haven't even touched the horde mode, which is probably going to be super fun too. I'd imagine if they had this wave shooter situation where you're defending, but every once in a while you get dropped like a minigun or something like that, that would be so fun. The minigun's so fun to shoot in the shooting range. I can't wait to have one in one of the levels. And I've played through a handful of the levels 2 or 3 times, and it's not, I don't know, it's not boring. It feels kind of good, even though nothing's really changing up between them. It just, I think in the end, the gunplay feels good. The enemies feel good to shoot, and that's carrying the game most of the way.
Yeah, I think the level design is more. I want to say after the fall, everything looks the same. And I know
Yeah.
it seems weird because Crossfire kind of also looks the same, but there's more variety in what the levels look like. So the creativity in the levels, I think, plays a big thing in it, where it looks maybe kind of the same, but the layout is different enough that it's a new experience every time. You have that strategy we were talking about. After the fall, I don't feel like there was any strategy. It's like run, strafe, shoot, and it's
It's
just
like, yeah,
hordes of enemies coming at you.
just run
Yeah,
away and try to get as many headshots as possible because that's the only way to kill the zombie. Yeah.
yeah,
I I think maybe the issue with the level design in this game is that it overstays its welcome a little bit too much. Like, I understand they have wave after wave come at you when you're defending because that kind of elongates. I think each level we went through was like 9 minutes long, 10 minutes long, something like that. But when you get to one of these points where you're like quote unquote defending, you'll take out a wave of the enemies that are already there, and then another one will come in, and then another one will come in, and then you move. I think what might make it feel more like a far point type thing is if you move through and then there's like 10 enemies there already, and you got to like strategize how you're going to pick them off as you move through that area.
yeah.
And that would be more of like a single player experience. But no, this is more of like a time crisis thing where the enemies are going to keep coming until it just decides there's not any more enemies and you go to the next area. But it's fun as hell to play. I think this is also, like you mentioned, Adam, it's a really good introductory VR game, right? You don't want to punish somebody when they're first playing VR. This is one where they can be like, oh, this is what it's like to shoot bad guys in VR. Feels good to put it on easy mode probably, and you just let her rip.
No doubt. Okay, well, Alex, PlayStation Plus. We discussed it last segment. I want to get back into it. They hit us pretty hard here. They increased. I think we both have premium, and it went from $119 to $159. $40 is fairly expensive. That's fairly steep. I want to get your thoughts because initially I have to admit I'm not very happy. The reason I'm not happy is I even feel like I did a pretty good job taking advantage of the premium benefits in the past year. The subscription service has been out not that long, right? It's
Yeah.
not like this has been out for years and then finally they're doing a price increase. It was like, okay, guess what? We rolled it out for 1 year, maybe year and a half, and now guess what? We're going to increase the price a lot. That's like a third of the price. That is a big price increase. I have used the demos. I have tried the game catalog for the classics. It wasn't very good, just bad. I've tried streaming. That sucked, big ones. I obviously get the monthly games. I've gone into the normal game catalog and I've played Final Fantasy Type 0. I've gotten that new RPG that is in the monthly games. I've tried, what was it? Thomas Was Alone in there. I've tried multiple games that were now free in there. So I feel like I've utilized it. But yeah, I feel like the $40 increase just sucks. What's your initial feelings? Do you care? You almost have to have something, right? Because you
Yeah.
can't do multiplayer without one of these, at least.
Yeah, I mean, the multiplayer, that's going to bite for the people who are just doing multiplayer, right? They're not going to have to pay $160, but they're going to have to pay, slightly more probably, right? What is it, like $60 for just basic boilerplate PlayStation Plus? You still get some free games, but not all the stuff. I remember, so my time to re-up was like now in the next couple of weeks. So I went ahead and purchased at 120 instead of 160, just to have that. And, you have a little bit of time, you could probably bundle up a couple of years if you know you're going to use it. I'm probably not as good as you at utilizing and taking full advantage of that PlayStation Plus. Every once in a while, I'll hop on my PS5 and be like, I want to play a PlayStation 3 game, and it's nice to kind of stream that and see how that goes. And it is nice to know that like any of these classic games that I, just want to dabble in a bit, I have access to. Honestly, like the price of 120 or 160, that's $40 is a good chunk of money. But if you're willing to pay 120, you're probably willing to pay 160 per year. I just looked at Game Pass Ultimate, which is Xbox's version of this, and it's $16.99 a month. I don't know what the annual fee is, but $16.99 a month works out to $207 a year. So we're beating that. My reason for re-upping, I thought about it. I was like, should I even re-up for the full-fledged version? Is I'm a sucker, Adam. Do you want to know why I'm a sucker?
I know you're a sucker. There's a lot of reasons, but what's your reasoning?
So Sony announced that PlayStation Portal thing, right? The Dual Shock with a screen on it, and they just launched the pre-orders for it. So I pre-ordered that because it's like, I don't know, man. Like playing. I've been playing Armored Core. If I could play Armored Core like laying in bed without having to be in my office where my PlayStation 5 is, that would be so nice. And to have that good functionality, have all those classic games in a portable capacity, I'm going to need to have the PlayStation Plus premium model. So that's what motivated me to re-up at 120, but I probably would have done it at 160 as well. I don't know, man. It's a healthy library. All the stuff you're getting for free is good. The demos are good. I mean, you're like the prime person for it. You want to go back and play all the Final Fantasies, and I think that this is going to have a lot of them for you. You want to play all the Kingdom Farts. This is going to have all of them for you. So it's you as a guy who will buy a game and then sell it. You never have access to it. Like, this is perfect for you. You buy a game, you sell it, and then you think about it a year from now, and it's probably in the catalog for you to play. For me, the guy who buys a game and keeps them all, I'm not getting too much out of this except for not having to hook up my PlayStation 3 whenever I need to, or my PlayStation 2 for that matter. So I don't. Everybody's talking like it's a big deal. To me, 120 to 160 on it as an annual basis doesn't seem that much of a deal breaker, especially considering what you're getting.
Yeah, I mean, so right now the prices are the PS Plus Essential is 60, the PS Plus Extra is 100, and then the premium is 120, like we said. Now with this new price, it's everything. The Essential is going up to $79.99, so that's $20 more. The Extra is $134.99, which is kind of random. So that is a $40 increase there, or 35 rather, excuse me. And then we already mentioned the 40 for the premium. So unlike you, I am not a sucker, and I feel like they're forcing us to do this. I think that's my issue. It's not like you have to have multiplayer when you play these games.
Yeah.
And so they're forcing this price increase on you. That's why I don't like. That's why I am going to be doing at least one tier underneath. I'm going to dive into a little more. I got to make some decisions to make, but just out of what's the word? Like, just for the sake of being like, what you're doing is wrong, I got to do it. I got to cut back, and hopefully enough people seem like they're outraged. I don't know if these are just Redditors saying it and they're really not going to do anything about it, or if they really are going to cut back. Because if enough people fight back, Sony is going to be like, okay, well, we made some money in the price increases, but ultimately we lost money because all these people either canceled premium or they cut back to just the Essential. So we got to do something about that. And at what point does it end, Alex? That's what I want to know. They have our balls in a vice grip. Why not $250? I understand things go up. There's inflation. Inflation doesn't account for a 33% increase. And unless the games they provide are starting to be major games, I'm not talking about, I loved Final Fantasy VII. Great game. That's years old now. Okay, it's on there. I'm talking about we need like day one titles, like big boys. We run a PSVR2 podcast. No PSVR games whatsoever.
Except for Humanity, but yeah.
Well, okay, as I kind of your little handheld argument, use the Steam Deck. Why? You have one. Like you don't have to have this. And
actually, so you do if you want to play the PlayStation games. You can stream your PlayStation games to PC, but I think you have to have PlayStation Plus Premium in order to be able to do it. So I could stream this Steam Deck, but I'm going to miss
There are
out on.
so few exclusives though that like you're not gonna play Horizon. You're not gonna play
I might play it when I'm in bed.
dude, you're not playing Horizon. You haven't, you're not interested. You're not gonna play Final Fantasy 16. I'm not buying it. So that's why I'm upset. That is why 100% I am cutting back at least one tier. And really, it's almost just like a proof of concept thing being like, dude, cuck Cerny, screw you, man. Like you not cool. Don't raise it that much unless you were gonna provide things that make it worth it. Is it better than Xbox? Yes. But I think Game Pass is stupid. The whole prescription or subscription thing I think is idiotic. Let me buy the games I want to freaking buy. I wish we would go back. I wish there was nothing and we could just buy. No, we used to just be able to play multiplayer as is because you have the effing console, and then let me physically purchase the game and just live with it. That's what I would like. Was playing Final Fantasy Type Zero nice because it was free? And let's be honest, I would have never played it had it not been on there and I was desperate to play a game. Sure, it was nice. It was my life changed because I played it. No, not worth it. That's where I stand. Screw you, Sony.
I mean, I'm looking at the list of games that are on the PlayStation Plus Premium. I mean, we got Returnal, we got Resident Evil 7, we got Res Infinite. Like, there's a good number of games that are worth playing. That's just the R's, Adam. A lot of Final Fantasies, but I agree with you. There needs to be, like, Game Pass is nice because if a big Xbox game comes out, it's on Game Pass day one. So if you're paying for Game Pass, you get, like, Starfield's coming out. If you have Game Pass, you got Starfield day one. And Sony's not doing that. And I don't know why they're not doing it. I'm sure they had their business reasons. But like you said, if you bought this service and you got Final Fantasy 16 day one on the PlayStation Plus Premium, then you'd probably have a harder time saying no to, dialing back your tier. Now, I think the big issue is that the price has gone up to 160, but from what I gather, nothing has changed, right? You don't get more stuff for the price going up to 160 unless they suddenly have decided they're going to start launching stuff day one. So yeah, it kind of sucks to be hit up for a good chunk more money, a significant percentage more money, but you don't get anything extra. You get the curated Ubisoft Plus Classics. Is that float your boat, Adam?
Oh boy. I also like how they added this at the end of a blog post. They just like snuck it in. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Like is this a joke? And here's the thing. So if you go, my thing is I can move right now. I already told you I've got premium. If I move down to just extra, I want the monthly games, right? I want the monthly games in the game catalog. So what can I can go to extra, and that would get me the game catalog and the monthly games. If you go all the way down to essential, that you get just the monthly games. You don't get the game catalog. So that's why I have to decide the difference between extra and essential. Because look, a premium, I tried cloud streaming. It sucked. The games just, what did I try to play? I don't remember, but it was awful. And I don't get it. I don't get it. Alex, I am done with this. I'm done with you. I want to go and play some more Crossfire Sierra Squad. That's what I'm doing right now. I thank you for listening to Play PSVR2, the podcast. We'll be back with more reviews, with more accessories, with more hot takes. Let us know, how hot are you that you're getting boned by PlayStation? What do you think about Sierra Squad? I want to hear. I want to hear your mom's and your auntie's thoughts. I could care less about yours. Thanks for watching again, folks. This is Play PSVR2, the podcast, where virtual reality is our reality.